Hello and welcome back. Another good one for you today. Showing off Waru and Mack for the first time. Bleenies Conrad, one of the namesakes of the channel. This is post Waru and Mack errata, so I've done a bit of tinkering with this deck and sort of delayed when I was going to show it off to everybody. But it's in a spot that I think it's potentially playable. I guess that's what we're going to find out today and over the next few videos as well. Um, so after the ban on Ozma, we had to find other ways to get draw into the deck. Um, Previously, we were playing Ozma here, in addition to some copies of Baba Yaga and Ordis Attorney. So we've got the field reinforcements as that sort of closest to the like-for-like change out of our Trial by Frost of TBF cards. We've also got Rallying Call, Hypothermia, Ordis Night Warden, and Ordis Overseer. Many of these are 2-ofs because I just want to see how they play once they're in hand and whether there are situations where I'm asking for them to bump them up to 3-ofs. Cut back on the bureaucrats. I think at one point we were up over, either over or close to that half the deck number, and at the moment we've just got 3, 5, 8, 10, 11, 13, 16. So that's still pretty high. So I think if we did have a copy of it, you can see we probably would have put in the third copy of Rallying Call, but we'll see how it works for now. Probably can take this deck one of two ways, either cutting down on the bureaucrats side of things and play to board a little bit more, or leaning back into it. So we'll probably think about that when we're rebuilding the deck for video number 2. But let's go through the uniques. So we've got a 2/2 Ordis Trooper here, just a charge effect. This plus the 3-ofs means you can be pretty liberal with when you play it in order to try and win stuff in the mid game rather than close out a game. So let's check and see how they go for us. You get the sort of added benefit of being able to buff stuff either for the next turn or from the last turn, with the Waru sleep effect. A 3/3 Ordis Attorney. This could definitely be the rare version, and we have something else in here. But this is just a singular Thoth effect plus the draw. And then a Baba Yaga, which sends something to reserve in order to get its draw effect. Something with an arrow would definitely be better, but we don't have one of those. But it lets you create a token as well, so plays to board quite heavily. 4/4/1/4 for 3 mana. Plays at its fullest effect. Some amount of the time, either if you're just in green or just in blue or just in both. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we draw those to see how we do. Definitely would have been showcasing some other cards here if I think I was playing to the strongest deck that I could. Mostly the Kuwait, but that's kind of just busted, but I'd be playing a lower curve. Low on removal as well, in order to fit in the Rallying Calls and the Hypothermias. Cut down on Kill on Burst and Sticky Note Seals, so we'll see whether getting rid of stuff would have just been better, or if these cards play instead. And apart from that, 6 Sabotage effects. I'm wondering how many that's going to be, and if we cut anything, which one would we prefer to cut? The Legates as a Bureaucrat, keeping those for Waru and Mack, or the Order Spires to play to board. Again, a lot of options there. We'll figure it out. Cool. On to game 1. Alright, here we are, game 1 of Waru and Mack. Bleenies Conrad, name of the channel, name of the game. Let's crack on and see how we do. We're playing second against an Akesha and Taru, so they may just after you us straight away. We'll see how we go. This is a matchup I'm not 100% certain on, so we'll figure it out from there. All right. Probably can't afford to keep the sabotage here, and one draw of either Baba Yaga or field reinforcements. We could get rid of teamwork and troopers because they're more late game cards. Let's do that. We'll leave our options open to look at more cards. Alright. There we go, we're all set up. Play a Baba Yaga first. Monolith Legate's not bad because it gives us something to do with mana if we draw a 1-drop here. Could be Bountiful Meadow, Monolith Legate into 1-drop. Okay, so BGA's having a few issues displaying some cards. Let's hit. No. Let's see if we can refresh the page. There you go, we have 2/3 of the card. Alright. So we drew a Ortis Attorney, a Quetzalcoatl. We could stay on rate here. It's probably too many bureaucrats. Which one is going to be the least useful? Quetzal is a really good card though. Alright. Sabotage was the choice there. Got a lot of ways to draw cards, so that may have been not the done thing. I think we'll drop our Bountiful Meadow here, see what they want to do, and then we've got options. We can either drop the Quetzal for next turn or try and win another expedition with the Baba Yaga. Okay. Both our expeditions aren't behind, so field reinforcements is probably not that great here. Got 3 mana up. I think we just drop the Baba Yaga on the hero side. Try and win there, see what they want to do with their 3 mana. Yeah. Reasonable, but I think given all of the choices that we had, I'd actually rather keep these 2 in hand than have access to the Baba Yaga again. Alright, so they're doing cycling things. Not too stressed about that. With the way that Waru's formatted these days, where you don't get the choice to sleep things or not, that is, it is a little bit frustrating to sit behind so early in the game because you feel like you're playing catch up and all of your guys kind of want to take their time. So the rallying call might be value here. We'll see. So we'll keep that. Probably play the Night Warden first as a way to try and bait out that off you go. So 1, 2, 3. We can play the Attorney and the Night Warden all here in one go. So let's do that. We'll start with the less valuable of the 2 and see if they want to just keep getting rid of cards.
Okay. Alright, we're going to have to open up the attorney to that off you go. Sabotage would have been nice right about now. But that's alright, that's what we're doing here. This deck is very much back to the drawing board after the Waru changes, so we are learning. Um, so they're definitely going to just cycle off you go back to hand. He's going, so move forward in one. He's going two behind, too difficult to come back from this far early in the game. No, we'll get on board. Not much he can do to get rid of it at this point, but he will be able to get rid of it next turn. Oh, he passes. Interesting. Doesn't want to use his mana here. Oh, there we go. What's he going to do? I would suspect he gets rid of the Baba Yaga, unless he has no other creatures in hand, in which case we'll see one of the other two go to discard. Okay, so we can potentially glean from that he has a creature. Definitely has one now. I think we'll get rid of charge because we're ahead on board already. Thought about getting rid of the sleight of hand there, forcing him to play off you go for the increased rate, because that actually is mana positive for us. We'll play a Quetzalcoatl because it's free. Pass turn. Even everything up. That went about as well as we could have hoped for. And we're actually even again. Quetzalcoatl. Okay. So we're going to have access to 7 mana here. I think we'll try and reinforce one side of the field, so if he removes the Quetzal, we still have some sort of pressure for him to play something there, which means he can't play it in the other expedition. We've got 2 rallying calls here, which I have kept just to see how well that card actually goes. It's going to have 7 mana. So one of these will cost 1. We can play the Spy. I think we get rid of the Quetz here. We'll see what he wants to do. Can't use sleight of hand until something gets played. What's he going to get rid of? Alright, that's... Nearly forgot to use the Bountiful Meadow, but we'll play this over here, see what he wants to do. And play the Attorney. try and bait him to remove that instead. If he does have removal for it though, that just means we have no bureaucrats in play next turn. But if he does, we'll have the rallying call to replay Quetz. Blizzard. And exhaust them. Alright, guess we'll hold on to it. Go 1 for 1. Not really interested in being 1 for 1 here. A little bit concerning, just because they've obviously got access to Small Step, Giant Leap, and we do not. I'm wondering if that is the card that's in hand. So we've got 2 creatures, 2 rallying calls, and a charge. Do we need the attorney? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think we need it. I'll drop an attorney for turn. Again, try to bait out that removal that he seems to have access to. We are... okay. 3... just run into a big old wad of removal, which is what this After You deck does. Lets you play everything out. Deals with it when they have better information. Drop the attorney and try and see if we can get a bit of a misplay here. If he plays Off You Go on the attorney, it's not going to be too bad, I guess. So we'll still have access to it next turn. So he wants to keep what he's got in hand hidden, evidently. We're 4-1 behind. So we're going to have to... I am fairly certain that he'll be keeping a Small Step, Giant Leap in hand. Sends a card to mana. I think we're probably past the usefulness for a second Bountiful Meadow. We've got enough mana to play everything we need in hand. We'll play her on the hero side, so that when we wake her up, 6 doesn't necessarily matter. But we'll play the Legate here anyway. So if we do lose, we get some sort of value out of it. We have to win both here. So he can play the Beauty Sleep again. Actually can play it twice more. Which is Bit of a worry. Might be 1 mana short here. Yeah, we can only do it once more. He can sleep 2 things. Alright, so hypothermia would have been good here actually. Put one of his creatures to sleep. Just didn't see one. I probably would have held on to it as well. Alright, now at least we know he didn't have the small step giant leap in hand. But he will beauty sleep our attorney again. I'm sure of it. So we're at the mercy of his top deck. If he gets the small step giant leap, not much we can do about that, I guess. Maybe it would have been smarter to boost one of the recruits. Frog Prince ain't the done thing. At least we worked through that beauty sleep as well. He actually cast it 3 times in a turn. So we'll play a field reinforcements to start off with. Draw an extra card. Make the recruit on the companion side. Draw our card. Not useful, but funny, I guess. Magical training. He's just he's looking to drill that. Looking to drill that small step giant leap, so we're probably just going to have to fade it for 1 more turn. He can still win here if he gets it, so. Wonder if we just pass here. Let's see if my expedition is behind created order. So if we do move forward in both, we'll be behind on the hero side, which means we can play Legate on the companion side, rally and call. Yeah, if he's got small step giant leap, not much we can do about it. Again, hypothermia would have been really good here actually. Alright. 1 draw step to rule them all. You know, other things he could have as well. Maybe a Sakurabru wrecks it for us as well. 0. We're fine here. Got enough mana to cast everything. That does not seem like a person that has the small step in hand. There you go. 2 more draw steps to fade. Oh, actually no. We're going to play a spy. Get rid of it. Hope he didn't get it that turn. Oh, my heart's beating in my chest. I'm so anxious. can still play everything out in our hand, see what he wants to do. We play the Overseer here as well. Okay, so we can sleep one more thing. To 3/3/3, so it depends on what his last spell is in hand. The fact that he's concerned about the other side makes me think that he doesn't have a creature in hand that can contest with it. But he can sleep it again. But if he does, what do we want to do? Whatever we unsleep, he probably just re-sleeps. So we'll force him to re-sleep the spy. If he's got a creature in hand, we go to time. Not time. Tiebreaker. But we'll have 8 power on board to start us off against a deck that has generally undervalue or overcosted creatures. If he wants to sleep it again, it'll actually be 8 plus 9. 17, so that's probably a losing situation for him. He's really taken his time, which is good. Okay, so he's forced it. What is our best draw here? Sabotage. Okay, I've got no rallying calls. Do have chances for the hypothermia as well. Okay, we're actually in a bit of a spot here. We'll see what he wants to do. He's hoping that he just drew the small step giant leap. That card's value drops off an absolute cliff in tiebreakers. There we go, we got it. Hit us with the early GGs. Yeah. Not a bad start. Let's see if we can keep it going in game 2. Alright, here we are, game 2, straight back into it. Bleenies Conrad, you know where we are. Let's see how we go. We're playing second again, another Akesha and Taru. Oh my god, let's see if we can roll it back twice against 2 different players. Alright, so we know Rallying Call is already a banger here. Hypothermia was one I was really looking for in the previous game. God, this is 6 good cards. So, turn 1, we could either play Baba Yaga, or we could play Night Ward and Hypothermia and just sleep whatever they play. That adds an extra boost to our Night Warden, so it's a 4/4/4 on turn 2, sorry. I don't think we can afford to keep both rallying calls. Order Spy isn't really in the conversation, although it could be. Baba Yaga plus Spy might be the alternative. Let's try the new cards. Let's scroll down here a little bit. Don't need to read all that stuff at the top. Let's play a Night Warden. The common Night Warden's not been too bad. It gains a boost instead of getting anchored. Baba Yaga. They draw a card. There you go. We're behind on cards. It's going to be 2 to 5. Huh. Okay. So, there's a small interaction we've got to keep in mind. If you already have a sleep, you can't gain a sleep again. Should have known that. There's the Gericht in Bravos that actually has the text saying, if I have fleeting, I can gain fleeting again. Yeah. Do we just sleep them both again? Let them win a turn? They could win 2 though, so that is a concern. We can only really play 1 card here each anyway, and I'd rather play these 2 in the same turn. Let's do the thing. It's fine, we get a boost. So we're technically ahead on the trade. Just going to sacrifice both expeditions here if they have anything to play. I was surprised to see the Akesha and Taru last game on Beauty Sleep. It's an interesting choice. Definitely not one that I'd considered before. Suppose it's a very efficient pseudo removal spell for turn. Okay, they're playing an Alchemist. Potentially thinking about removing our creature there. I feel like if they had an off you go, they would have just played it. So I think them just playing 1 card here is pretty much best case scenario. Okay, 5 mana to play with, which could be a Quetzalcoatl plus Rallying Call. We keep the Legate for next turn, get rid of Teamwork Training. Alright. Alright, I think that's the go. That gives us some options. We can play Night Warden out of reserve next turn as well. See what they want to do. Now, we could play the Legate. That guarantees that we have a Bureaucrat up next turn. If we play it, obviously the standard choice here would be to play it in the Hero Expedition so that we get the Sabotage no matter what. But if we play it in the Companion Expedition, it actually disincentivizes them from trying to win that side. And we hold the Rallying Call for a bit later on. No, we'll go the standard play here. That's probably a little bit too heads up for this game. We'll see if that would have been a choice to make. All right. Yeah. Okay. So they were thinking about it last turn. Maybe they drew it this turn. Who knows? No sleight of hand means we do get to get rid of the off you go for good, but we're also behind 3 expeditions, having made no progress. Okay, what are we getting rid of here? 5 mana, so we have to get rid of something to be able to play everything in our hand. If we don't get rid of something, we could Night Warden into Rallying Call, try and win 2 back here. Night Warden into Orders Trooper might be good as well, but that puts a lot of cards into reserve. I think the Trooper's the go, so we have access to Teamwork Training plus our Night Warden Rallying Call play. I would like to keep the Quets around a little bit more, but it's not possible right now. That's 2 games in a row that we've sent that Trooper to reserve. To mana, sorry. We have drawn it early both games, and it is a way to flip trades late game, predominantly. So it's not necessarily the deal breaker for that card, but we do want our cards to be useful early on. We've got a few other options. Haven't really been doing it as part of the Dex showcases lately, but I do have a few uniques to choose from. Most, I would say, border on unplayable. But, you know, maybe there's some goofy things we can do in there that I haven't considered. I think, had I been trying to play the strongest deck possible, I would have kept the Kuota Dissenter that I've showcased in the Sigismar deck. Alright, we have a choice here. Do we get rid of the Baba Yaga or wait for something more valuable? I think we force them to play something into it. So they have to play something here if they want to try and win the expedition, and then we can try and flip it on their head by adding 4 power into it afterwards as well. We'll have 3 cards in reserve, which is a little bit disappointing, and we have no more rallying calls as well because we're only playing 2 of it. You know, but we're in a spot. Not necessarily a good spot, but not necessarily too bad either. If we can win a double here, we're only 1 behind. We can try and make up something elsewhere. I think we keep the rallying call around no matter what, and the Quetzalcoatl's probably just a better card than the Monolith Legate. So when we get to the end of the day, we'll probably just send that one to discard. Alright, 4 mana. Rallying Call. Put it on the Night Warden. 5/5/5 there. What 1-drops do they play? What, they could play Moonlight, Jellyfish or Studious Disciple, but neither of those stops us from moving forward, so they won't. So I'm expecting a pass here. Unless they play like a Magical Training
teamwork training would even it up too. But we haven't seen that we didn't see that out of the last guy. Beauty sleep. Alright. What are you going to sleep? The token? They're thinking about it. Do they sleep the token or do they sleep the Night Warden? Yeah, they want to move forward. Hoping that they find an off you go or something like that. Now, if we played that turn differently, we could have Night Wardened, Rallying Called again instead of playing the teamwork training. But then they would have had 6-5-5 to our 5-5-5, so they would have lost anyway. We would have lost anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huh. I think we hold on to it here because getting rid of one card means we wouldn't have actually been able to get rid of anything else. Anyway. Alright, they get a moth. This one is looking a lot less spicy for us. Really struggling to get any traction here. What's different between this game and the previous one? They actually had access to more removal with the sleight of hand. Okay. Well, this is a small misplay here as well. I suppose not necessarily, but I could have at least threatened to rally and call the trooper, so they would have been forced to play the alchemist. We'll get it out now. There's a good chance that we have something else to do with this. Okay. I'm okay with that. I think this one's a bit of a lost cause. Yeah. This is a much more aggressive Akesha and Tari deck. There you go. Oh well, GG's. Can't win them all. That's not too stressful, but it did showcase the issues with the deck a little bit more. And I think the Akesha and Taru list was a little bit more geared towards beating us. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, here we are, game 3, Waru and Mack. Gonna check in, see how we do. After the last game, gonna be in a serious chair stance. Leg is up. We are thinking everything out. Alright, Taja and Nora. Alright, we've got Bountiful Meadow plus Ordis Night Warden turn 1 into one of our other bureaucrats. Which one do we like better? Yeah, I think we'll get rid of the Quets there. We've got a slightly better chance of redrawing one of those later in the game than the Order Saturni. This has been going well though. Finally got something different. Maybe I need to play more than 3 games per video to get a better representation of the decks. If we do get a double up, it can be a little bit funky, but you know, that's alright. We'll figure it out from here. See if this deck actually has any legs anymore. Have I messed up here? Okay, they're going to draw a card this turn. The Spindle Harvest is going to go away. See what they want to do. Okay, we've got 4 mana. If we get rid of the Hypothermia, we can play both of our Bureaucrats. 1, 2, we'll get 3 there. We might actually be able to win that one with the Overseer. But then we're giving up on the draw from Attorney. If that's the case, we'll see what they do first up. I'm assuming it's going to be the Spindle Harvesters over 2. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Alright, I think what we do is we play the Attorney on this side, give that one up if they want it, or we could tie everything up as well. No, we can't actually, because if we want to get the effect from the Overseer, we have to send it to this side because we're not behind on the companion side. Wonder what they're thinking about. The Spindle Harvesters. Gains anchored. That'll be tied up, but we also have that. Alright. Yeah, that ain't too bad. So, yeah, they'll give a boost to the Spindle Harvester, keep it around. We'll pass, they'll pass. I'm expecting the Tiny Djinn to go to mana here. Alright, we could get rid of the Trooper and just play out 3 Bureaucrats this turn. But that sort of just leaves us at the mercy of whatever they want to get done. So we might get rid of one of these guys. It doesn't take advantage of our bountiful meadow, but that's okay. They might not have anything in reserve at the end of this turn if they play a lot of creatures with anchored. See how we do. Alright, I'm thinking we'll play the Night Warden in our companion side straight up, so we've got that for next turn. If they do anchor the Spindle Harvester again. We've at least got something there to contest next turn. We'll see what they want to do. So this first character, they can give it... Alright, so they play a plant. Which side do I think they're more likely to try and play into? I think I'll put... We definitely want to play the Attorney because that will give us a lot more tokens next turn with the Overseer. Do we hedge our bets or do we double up so that they don't, that disincentivizes them from playing? I think if they want to contest on either side, playing this in the hero zone means we draw a card either way. Obviously, could go wrong. I suppose they could let us move forward, but progress is progress. And we can react with the Orders Trooper to what they want to play. Depending on what they play, if we do have a chance to contest on one side, we do. So something's coming out. Let's see what it is. Could be big. Dracona 1, 2, anchored. Alright, how does this go wrong? Okay, so the Orders Trooper does nothing for us on this side, and they need to have a 2-2 on this side to stop us from moving forward. I think we play it out just so we get it. That might be a little bit safe. We'll see. It might stop them from playing this card on their turn. Alright, so we draw a card off of the Attorney. With 3 looks at a teamwork training here, which would be very zesty. Get rid of the Trooper because these two are just more useful. Six mana. If we discard the Hypothermia, we can play all 3 of our Attorneys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, all of our Bureaucrats. Not Attorneys, although there will be one. What are they going to exhaust? Okay, if they have another way to exhaust something in reserve, that may be a problem. But we'll see what they do. Okay, how much power do we get out of this? 3. It gets 4 right now. Takes us up to 6. I think they would sleep the Jack Frost here. We'll play out the hypothermia anyway. We'll sleep our Night Warden. What do you pick? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Can at least stop them from moving forward. We're gonna have to get rid of something anyway, so I think we do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. If we're gonna play an attorney, I think we're gonna pick the unique one here. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll send the other Bountiful Meadow. Play the attorney. On this side, what are you going to do? You're going to give it anchored? Kind of expecting to see the Jack Frost out here because he can see the hypothermia. Knows that we can play it. Plays it around that. We did have the option of just sleeping something straight away, which could have been an option. Guess I was thinking about Jack Frost being the other card in hand. I think he's going to play the Son of Yggdrasil here. What do we want to keep around most? Definitely not the Overseer. Buffing the Night Warden's kind of fun. Yeah, I like that. I don't think I would do this if I didn't have Rallying Call in hand. But we're still on the hunt for that teamwork trading to deal with this Dracana anyway. I think there's only 2 in this list, which is a little bit sad. What are you going to do? That's fine. keep our 6/6 around. Pretty hefty. We trade once again. What's good here? We do get the full value out of our field reinforcements. I don't know why that comes up twice. I know it's because there's two effects that trigger at the same time. But you only need to click one. Alright, Orders Trooper. One, two, three, four, five, six. Can we sit on this? We don't get anything from sending anything to mana, because then we'll just end up with 8. We need 9 to play an extra card. So I think I pass. They have a lot more mana to play with though. 10, but they only got 2 cards to play. So, barring any resupply. One, two, 5, 6, 7. Drawing an extra card for them is probably going to be more impactful than it was for us, but I'm thinking we play the field reinforcements anyway. Get an extra 2 power over here, plus that. Okay. That was a good trade for them. Can we actually win here on that side now? I guess if we do, it starts with the Baba Yaga. Okay. The answer is no. We did need. We did need that rallying call to make a bit of a game of it. So that's probably us done. We sabotage something. Alright, they're in blue. We've got to get rid of the Loki here. Okay. Is there a chance? Okay, Bountiful Meta is going to be useless here, but we go to 8. Can play 3 cards. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. This cuts us down from playing an extra card. Maybe we were punished for not putting something in the mana. but that's all right. We did the best with the information that we had. I think we're just going to come up short here. We can only put 4 power on that side. Get rid of something from them. Because I definitely want a teamwork training, whatever it is they play first. Which means I can either play 2 charges here, or 1 order spy. Wonder what's running through their brain. Tiny Jin. Man, I wasn't even paying attention to what they wanted to move forward with here. Maybe they've opened it up for us. Teamwork training the Tiny Jin. Although they getting rid of the Dracana. Okay, so if we do get rid of the Tiny Jin, it goes back, they replay it, they go up to 5. They play something else to stop us. Oh man. 1 mana short from doing everything I needed to do. That Loki really messed us up. What's more valuable? Getting up to 6 power here. I think we have to get rid of the Tiny Jin, see if they want to replay it. Because if they just stop us from moving on that side. Oh no, we need to be at the top here. Yeah, that's alright. Came up a little bit short, made 1 serious misplay that probably cost us the game. If we had 10 mana here, we could have made a bit of a game of it at least. Although, as the board is, it wouldn't have actually mattered too much. Could have forced them to bounce something further, I guess. We would have ended up with 6, they would have ended up with 6. Another chance to play something off of 3 mana. Yeah, that's all good. Alright, onto the match review. Alright, here we are, 3 games done with Hermes Conrad. A 1-2 record against 2 Akesha and Tarus after U decks, and 1 Taedra and Nora. Those are matchups that pre-errata I would have felt pretty comfortable in, I think. You know, the concerns I raised in the deck tech definitely came to fruition here, and we had a bit of trouble closing out games and contesting expeditions throughout. So we'll go back to the drawing board a little bit and see what we can do to improve that side of things. Couple of points that I wanted to talk about from the games. In game 2, sort of the transformative turn was that one where we didn't respect exhaust out of our opponent. Um, Exhausting the Quetzalcoatl there meant we didn't really get to utilize our mana quite as well as we wanted to. I think there were two exhaust effects there that really kept that from affecting the board. Could have played around it, I guess, by playing the Quetz a little bit earlier, but you know, got to think about that moving forward throughout the games that we play on the channel. And the other one is another important turn, I think, in the Tadra and Nora game where we didn't send something to mana, kept our hand, and then our opponent played that unique Loki that discarded both reserve and hand and let us draw 3 fresh cards. Um, you know, I'm not sure how often I'm going to have to think about those Loki sort of effects, getting rid of everything, but we definitely didn't think about it before they did it, and it sort of meant that we were playing catch up, you know, losing access to the 5 cards that we had, and then refreshing their hand was probably about as good as it's ever going to be for them. The fact that we didn't send something to reserve indicated to our opponent that we like what's in our hand. So, you know, they definitely could send them to discard, knowing that they were getting rid of good stuff. Um, and then, after that, we sort of just floundered around until we lost. Still had play, but had we put that extra mana in reserve that turn, um, you know, we would have still been in it, I think. Um, yeah, those are the two moments I kind of wanted to touch on coming out of the games. I think I was right in the deck tech as well. Rallying Call definitely needs to be a 3 of if we're going to keep as many sleep effects in here. Ortis Night Warden was really good, so I'd probably bump that up to 3 as well. And I think I was really, really asking and praying for, one of those copies of Hypothermia to turn up as well. So, bumping all of those up to 3, maybe something I think about in the future. I still felt a bit short on card draw. We've got the 8 effects in here. I can't think of anything that would move, make the deck more likely to get them too much. 3 Baba Yagas, 3 Ortis Attorneys already is, um, pretty central to the deck, and I don't think I can afford to cut down on those. The 2 field reinforcements, could consider bumping that up to 3, but the other options in Ortis are not that good for this deck, I would say. You're not going to be getting the resupply from the rare monolith rune scribes every time, because you're just not producing as many tokens without Waru giving you a free one whenever you've got a bureaucrat, and Colonic Generator that's right out, I'd say. I've already got 2 ideas about how we want to take the deck forward. I think I mentioned them early on, but either cutting down on the bureaucrats and playing to board a little bit more, or keeping the bureaucrats and playing into that a little bit more with more removal. Either way, I think 3 Bountiful Meadows is probably too much. I wouldn't want to cut down to 1, so it's either going to be 3, 2, or 0. If we cut them down all the way to 0, we've got some pretty good replacements in there in the Rallying Call and getting the Keylon Burst back into the deck. 6 Sabotage is probably too many as well, but you can have the option of either cutting down on the Legates to play your Order Spies and something else to board, or cutting down on the Spies and keeping your Bureaucrats in play. 4 charge effects is probably too much when you're not affecting the board, as it were. I think it would have been really good to have the charges at the end of the game if I hadn't thrown by, not respecting the wheel. Is like we were pretty much 1 mana short of staying in the game there, but replacing those with Audis Liaison could be an option. Um, Apart from that, I'm still happy with how the deck played. Just a lot of changes that need to be made, I think, to get it on that same level as some of the other decks that we've played here. But that's part of the process. 25 2 drops is quite a lot when we're not ripping through our deck. So we'll try and figure out how we can fix that. Yeah, maybe we'll throw some extra 4 drops and stuff in there to make sure we're using our mana more efficiently for the cards that we're playing. Um, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything I missed that I could have done better. Always happy. The whole reason I'm making this channel is so that I can improve as an altered player. So criticism is both welcome and appreciated. Um, Send us your comments. Let us know. DM me if you've got anything you want to say that you don't want in the public eye. I'm pretty resilient, so check back in next time. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.